Welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into a super fun and practical case study from Glow Toy Factory, a business that makes glowing plastic toys. This case will help you finally understand the overhead allocation, normal costing, and why companies even bother calculating overhead rates. Don't worry, I'm going to make this easy and interesting. Let's get started. So here's a story. Glow Toy makes small glowing toys. They look simple, but the costing isn't. They have 3 production departments, and each uses direct labor, machines, and a lot of overhead. Glow Toy's problem is that overhead always seems confusing. So our job is to figure out how do we calculate an overhead rate that makes sense, and how do we apply it to jobs. The production process has 3 main departments. Number 1, molding, where plastic is injected into molds. Number 2, trimming, where excess plastic is removed and the defects are checked. Number 3, painting, where the toys get color and the customs logo. Each department uses direct labor, hours, and consumes overhead. That's why we need a good overhead rate. Let's look at some numbers. In the molding department, Glow Toy planned for 5,400 direct labor hours. In reality, they used 5,500 hours. They also plan to spend about $1.66 million in overhead for this department. This department uses huge machines and tons of electricity, so overhead is heavy. Next, the trimming department. Planned DLH was 8,700 hours, but actually hours were 9,200. This area is more labor-intensive. Employees trim extra plastic, fix defects, and recycle faulty units. Planned overhead was about $645,000, but actual overhead was slightly higher. Finally, the painting department. This department adds color and prints customer logos. Super important for advertising products. Planned labor hours were 9,000, but actual hours came in slightly lower. Planned overhead here was about $854,000. Now let's combine everything. Across all departments, total planned overhead is about $3.16 million. Total planned labor hours is 23,150. Actual overhead and actual hours were also close but slightly different. We need these totals to calculate the company-wide overhead rate. Here's where the magic happens. We calculate the planned or budgeted overhead rates like this. Planned overhead divided by planned direct labor hours. So $3,155,000 divided by 23,150 hours, which is $136 dollars per labor hour. This is the amount of overhead Glow Toy applies every time someone works 1 hour. Now let's compare this to the actual overhead rate. Actual overhead divided by actual labor hours. $3,173,000 divided by 23,400 hours, which is $135 per labor hour. Notice something important. The actual rate and the planned rate are almost the same, only about 70 cents difference. That means Glow Toy's budgeting is pretty accurate. So why do companies use the planned overhead rate? Because this is called normal costing and it's extremely useful. Normal costing lets you cost jobs immediately without waiting for actual overhead. It gives stable product costs, helps with pricing, budgeting, and evaluating performance. Actual rates fluctuate too much month to month. It's way too unstable. Let's apply the rate to a real job. Suppose job 27 used 40 direct labor hours. We multiply 40 hours by the planned overhead rate, which is $136.29. That gives us an overhead amount of $5,451.60. You would add this to direct materials and direct labor to get the full job cost. Quick summary to wrap things up. Glotoy uses a plant-wide overhead rate based on direct labor hours. Their planned rate is $136.29 per hour, and their actual rate is $135.60. Normal costing helps them calculate job costs quickly and consistently. Overhead allocation affects pricing, profitability, and decision-making. So getting that right is extremely important. If you enjoyed this session, hit the like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more accounting case studies.